Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Matt Samolsky here, Matt the Car Guy. Today, you can see it's a little bit colder than my last video, and you might be thinking winter is coming. You might be thinking, hey, I probably should look at some SUVs. And I have one of the ultimate performance SUVs that there is. This is 2021 Range Rover Sport SVR. Now this is a combination of beauty and the beast. I mean, this is powered by this massive 575 horsepower 5-liter V8 engine that will send this car from 0 to 60 in just about 4.3 seconds. Now this is one of the top of the line models, and today I'm going to take you on the tour of it. I'm going to take you on the tour of the outside, the tour of the inside. We're going to take a look in the back area to see how much room there is, and then we're going to take it for a spin. So if you're ready, let's go. Right, so you might have seen a lot of these on the road because this body style has been unchanged for a few years now, but this, you know, you can see right away that this is a performance vehicle. I mean, you can see the front lower bumper that is completely different. That's more sporty. Actually, they have those air vents, the air intakes right here, huge, massive. Those are actually functional. They go inside the vehicle. You can see the SVR logo on it. Now, SVR is a special vehicle racing, special vehicle operations unit that's part of the Range Rover Jaguar. It's kind of like AMG to Mercedes, kind of like an M Class 2 BMW. It's a performance unit. They specialize in tuning the current models, and not only on the outside, like you can see with the beautiful bumper in here and the beautiful front of this car, but also on the insides, those engines producing massive amounts of horsepower that can send these vehicles 0 to 60 in an incredible amount of times. But let's take a look at the outside too. I think this is the ultimate men's SUV. Okay, ladies, don't be offended if you like it. By all means, go for it. But I think it's very masculine. I think it's very that stance, that appearance of this vehicle. I think it's got something manly to it. Okay, well, let's take a look at the lights. Now these light up. I want to show you this in just a second, how these light up. This is the typical light signature for this vehicle. LED lights and LED performance lights on the inside, the Land Rover logo on it. Now this one is all blacked out, so you can't see it probably, but there's a Range Rover written right on the hood. That's typical to all of the Range Rovers right now. And this Land Rover logo, basically a green background with the silver logo on here. Now we're gonna get a close-up of it, but there's also like the hood vents as well as the fender vents on the side. That adds to that sportiness, that performance look of this vehicle. And we're gonna take a look on the side and just now. Okay, so the side profile of this Range Rover. Now this looks very masculine. It's very fast, even when it's standing still, and at the same time it's an SUV, so it's got that characteristics of a typical SUV. It's kind of square, but it's boxy, but it's at the same time it's refined. Those fender vents right here, that's basically just a design element, and it looks different. If you would have a different color of this vehicle, it would stand out a lot more. Also the hood vents right here, they're adding to the sportiness of this vehicle. And this one was upgraded with this 22-inch massive wheels. They're also black, so this whole vehicle is all blacked out. All you can see is those huge brake calipers, the red brake calipers, just peeking through those wheels over here. Of course, it has the turn signals, LED turn signals in the mirrors. And that is it. That's the side of this vehicle. It does have a big roof. It's a fixed roof. Actually, this one opens, panoramic sunroof, and I'll show you that once we get on the interior. When you take a look at the back, the first thing you see is those wraparound taillights. Now you can see that they're very nice and bright. LEDs underneath here. The rest of the LEDs will light up as well, depending whether it's a turn signal or whether it's a brake light. The brake light is also right here, nice big visible brake light. Range Rover written on the back gate, and look at this huge, massive exhaust. Now this exhaust is not just for the looks, and this is real exhaust, because this thing is capable of producing 575 horsepower, over 600 pound-feet of torque. So it is very capable. And now it's got this air diffuser. Actually, this one's got a towing package right here as well. So if you have a boat and if you want to tow it really fast, you can do it with this car as well. Right, while we're in the back, we're going to check out the back portion of it, and you can open it with the key. You can open it from the inside, you can open it from the outside. We're going to take a look at the key when we're on the inside, but let's open this back gate and let's see how much room there is in this SUV. So walking up to it, you can see there's plenty of room for your regular, daily necessities. I mean, it's not huge. You won't fit a refrigerator in it, but you'll fit everything that you'll need on your Costco run, or if you go somewhere, you can certainly put a lot of stuff in here. Now this got this cargo cover that prevents people from peeking in and gives you that privacy that you want. Now what's important too, a couple of things that I want to point out in here, it does have a spare tire. So I mean, that's a plus in my book, and a car that has a spare tire, that's a plus. Okay, has it right here, and that's why, kind of like we've seen on the BMW, that portion is kind of raised a little bit to accommodate for the size of the tire. Also, what's nice too, it has that up and down buttons to lower this vehicle if you're loading anything, and it lowers it, but quite a bit. I'll show you that from the side so you can see it. Okay, so take a look from the side of how low this can go and how many inches is there. So look how it drops. I want to see if it's going to hit me in the head with the open gate. And that's pretty close. But so this is as low as it can go. This is for you to easily load all the stuff that you have to this vehicle. And if you want to raise it, there you go. Simply press the button and it raises it. And look how high it raises it. It's hard for you to see on here. Take a look at the distance between the wheel and the fender. Take a look at the distance between my head and the top of the gate. That is about this much it raised. So that's about 3 inches, 3-4 inches that it raised. Pretty useful feature if you ask me, especially if you have something heavy to haul in this vehicle. Okay, so you might be wondering of what's underneath the hood here, and I'll pop it out, we'll talk a little bit, and then I'm going to show you this really quick of what's underneath this hood. So this is a V8 5.0 liter engine. It has been supercharged. It's got 575 horsepower, and this is capable of actually sending this vehicle 0 to 60 in just 4.3 seconds. So it's definitely very capable mid-size luxury SUV. The engine looks fantastic. Let me show you this right now. All right, so let's take a look. Let's check out this engine. First of all, you can see right away that it is an SVR because it does have that SVR logo on it. It does not have a lot of room around it, so if you're one of the people that like to work on this car yourself, I got bad news for you. You probably should take it to a dealership. And as all of the Range Rovers, you can see how many cylinders it has, but just counting it: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So it is an 8-cylinder engine. That is pretty cool how they do it. And this is it. This is the engine. Okay, so let's check out how much room is in the back seat. Well, let's see if the seat moves forward and backwards. Well, it does adjust the recliner, but doesn't have a forward and backward movement. And the reason I say that is once you get in, it's kind of tight. And for the point of reference, I'm 6 feet tall, so I got plenty of headroom. Most of the Range Rovers got tons of headroom. I don't know how they do it, but there's plenty of room right here. Here, on the other hand, I mean, this would not be very comfortable to drive for a long periods of time. If you're shorter, not a big deal. If somebody that's driving it is shorter, not a big deal. For 6-footers, I mean, this would leave you very little room. Matter of fact, I'm kind of touching that back of the seat when I'm sitting in here. So, but it's a very beautiful interior. So, okay, so walking up to it right away, you can see it's high-end materials. This one also has the high-end stereo, but that's what you get for the price of it. We're gonna get to the price next. It's got this beautiful carbon fiber trim all over. And take a look at the seats. Now this is a 5-seater, but I have it open, the the armrest open, so you can see it can be very comfortable for 2 people that want to have coffee, let's say. Anyway, so what's in here? So in here you can see again the climate controls in the back. You can see that beautiful carbon fiber trim. So if you can get a close-up of it, probably in the front it's going to be looking a lot nicer. But you also have 2 USB ports and 1 12-volt port right there. What's also pretty cool that you do have this massive sunroof, and that actually opens up. We're going to take a look at it in just a second when I'm in the front seat. Alright, that's standard. Time for the sound check. And I'm not talking about the stereo sound check, I'm talking about the door sound check. Solid. It does not have any other noises other than the noise of the closing door. It doesn't feel as heavy as some of the other vehicles that I tested, but it's very, very acceptable as well. What's here? Let's check this out. Okay, so just walking up to it, let's take a look at this door right here, because it makes a big difference. First of all, this carbon fiber trim is absolutely amazing. It feels rich, it feels sporty, it feels modern. And what we have here, there's a little compartment for whatever you want to put in here. Actually, a phone maybe if you're want to leave it in the car. There's also map pocket right here as well. So you have your memory seats, 3 settings for the memory seats right here. You have your mirrors, windows controls, and then you have your speakers. Okay. Range Rover logo on the door seal. Controls for the seats. Those beautiful seats. Look at them. Sporty SVR seats. Okay, let's check out the rest of this. Okay, so the interior of the Range Rover, first of all, it's very luxurious. It's very sporty at the same time. Take a look at this. You can't forget that you're in the SVR, even at the bottom of the steering wheel. And take a look at this. Carbon fiber trim and the SVR logo right here. Nice leather wrapped steering wheel. Buttons, they light up. They're lit up right now, so you can see what they do. And then those 2 massive screens. One of my favorite feature of any of the Range Rovers, and I've reviewed those with the Range Rover SVR that I did. And we're going to take another look at this. And then the sporty shifter. And then what else we have here? Carbon fiber again. Cup holders. Okay. Well, let's go through some of the features that are on this car. So let's start it. See how it sounds. There you go. So you can see right away, this is the digital dashboard. You can see it's an SVR vehicle. You can see it right here on the speedometer. The speedometer goes almost to 200 miles an hour. It's got the picture of the vehicle right in the middle. It's got the occupant position detection system in the back, so you can see those 3 seats right under the P sign. If there were passengers in the back and they were wearing a seat belt, it would light up as red, or it would light up if you're leaving the car and somebody is still there. So what's in the menu portion right here? So you can see the display info panel. You can turn it off completely. You can set it to media, map, which is actually a pretty cool feature. And let's see how the map's gonna look. I like that feature where a lot of manufacturers will put the map in the middle, so you can actually not have to take the eyes off the road and have it in here. So okay, so that's a standard display in here, and that is pretty simple but pretty interesting. Now the one that makes a whole difference in this Range Rover is the display that you have on the side here. And I apologize if the screen's going to be flickering a little bit. I've got some questions on the Range Rover SVR. Why is it flickering? Now this one should be okay, but If it is, it's because of the camera. It's nothing to do with the screen. It's got the nice crisp display. You've seen me reviewing it on the Range Rover SVR, but let's take a look at what else is in here. So first of all, there's two 10-inch screens. This is a screen and this is a screen. And this one you can basically, right now it's on climate control, so you can set it up the way that you want it. Which way do you want the vents blowing? And this is different for each passenger. You can turn it off if you'd like to. Climate is off, climate is on. Seats, you know, so you can have the front seats, rear seats, you know, as far as the ventilated seats or the heated seats. And you can do it actually two ways. You can switch from heating to ventilating with this dial right here, and this is the multi-purpose dial as well. Or you can do it which portion of the seat you want, heated, ventilated, the whole 9 yards. Okay, front windshield defogger, rear window defroster, air recirculating button. So normal the features as you would have on the regular car. Most of the cars have a little strip right here with the buttons on it. That's cool too, but this takes it to a whole other level. Now, vehicle settings. Okay, now this is mostly for some of the off-road modes, but also in this one is the performance mode. Performance exhaust. Okay, this one is only available M dynamic setup. It's only available in dynamic mode. So if we switch the driving mode to dynamic, we should be able to do that too. But anyways, so this is dynamic program. Okay, and here's what happens. Look at this. You can do a factory setup, okay, which is right now. Steering is dynamic, suspension dynamic, gear shift, engine, all the dynamic ones. You can change all of those features right here. So dynamic suspension increases suspension feedback and agility. Okay, steering dynamic increases steering feel and feedback. Engine dynamic increases engine response. Gear shift dynamic gives the most responsive shift strategy and inhibits an upshift in manual sports mode. This is your settings, right? 0 to 60. Okay, press to start. We can check it out. This is the stopwatch. It's interesting. G meter. Okay, again your lean and pitch. Pedals, throttle and brake. Interesting. So you can select that. That's part of that SVR package. Now this is not, I don't think it's on the regular Range Rovers too. But what other drive modes we have? We have the Eco mode. Oh, one thing to mention too is when we switch the modes, it also switches the display on display a little bit. So it doesn't change the colors or anything, but it shows you on the display of which features are selected. So let's take a look. I'm gonna be playing with these right here, and I'll show you what's happening in the display. So now we're in the sports mode, right? So this is a sports mode. I'll switch it to Eco mode. Okay, you can see the different background of the vehicle. Little changes right here. Comfort mode. Snow, grass, gravel, snow program selected. You can lock the differentials if you want to. So very interesting feature of this car. Now take a look at the displays again, because this makes a huge difference. Now some of you might see me telling how nice it is if it's a white background, and if you wanted to do it in the white background, then here it is. Now on this particular car, because it's sporty and because of the way that the whole interior is set up in black, I feel like the black background, it's nicer, it fits it better, and it's actually easier to read on this one. So you have your navigation, you can set up your phone, you can set up your media. Now what's important to say about this, you can see here the radio playing. or turn it off. But what's important with this, it's got this Meridian premium stereo. That's about $4,000 option, which brings us to the price of this vehicle. Now, this vehicle starts at about $114,000 right off the gate. Now, when you looked at the review on the outside, you can see I was talking about the wheels. So those 22-inch wheels are not a standard equipment. They're actually extra. The sound system is extra. The carbon fiber trim, that beautiful carbon fiber trim that's right here, is extra. So that brings this particular vehicle, as we're testing it, to just over $135,000. It's not cheap, but that's a lot of car for the money, especially if it competes with the likes of Mercedes GLE 63, which is about $130,000, $130,000. The BMW MX-5, that's over $100,000. What else we have here? Let's check it out. So that's about the price. I mean, it's not a cheap car, but this is a select vehicle too. The regular Range Rover Sport looks similar to this without the fancy front grille, and of course with a lot smaller engine, with the 3.0 liter engine. They start at about $68,000. So the range between is about 68, and this one is at the very, very high end, 135. There might be a few more features. You can get it probably to about 140,000, but you can select from several different engine options, and you can select from several different trim options as well. So you can go to landrover.com and check out, build your own, and see what that price is out of. But that gives you a general idea of what those cars are selling for. Not cheap, but this is special too. So your cameras, you have your 360 cameras. Okay, you can see which cameras I'm pressing: side, front, and middle, rear camera, and front camera. So it's a full 360 camera. You can turn on or turn off your guides when you're backing up. Parking sensors, turn it on, turn it off. Okay, parking assist, if you wanted to get into the parking space, that vehicle has it as well, so you can turn it on or off as well. Go back to the home screen, navigation, media, phone. Navigation's pretty large screen, if you ask me. I mean, it's not the biggest one. Mercedes has got the 12-inch screen, but this one is substantial. It's visible. BMW's got a 10-inch screen as well. So I mean, it's within that range. Gear shifter right here, nicely leather wrapped. I mean, it does have these pedal shifters on the side in here, so this is also a signature of a sports vehicle. And what do we have here? You can turn off your traction control. You can actually raise or lower the vehicle, or you can set it in the auto mode. This is the assist and the descent assist, and this one is your well, you need to select the low run, so you need to put it in neutral, but that's basically how you do it. This is your electronic parking brake, and I absolutely love that carbon fiber trim on this car. It's awesome. What do we have here? You have a micro SIM card, so you can actually have a Wi-Fi hotspot in this car. It connects to it, so it can help you with a variety of different entertainment and media options. And what's kind of interesting here, there's two buttons right here, up and down. This one releases your top glove box, which has it right here, and this one, look at this, it has a bottom glove box as well. So this is bottom glove box. As far as the stereo system, Meridian, but this is not just a regular Meridian, this is the Meridian premium system in this vehicle. And again, that's trim, unbelievable, awesome. Okay, so that's it. That's the interior of it. Let's take it for a spin. Let's see what this thing can do, because that's a big part of this vehicle, is the performance of it. Alright, I'm ready to check this car out. Let's start with what we normally do, and let's basically check out the turning radius really quick. And I think it's better than most of the other ones. Let's see. I have my very primitive way of checking it out. So we were in spot number 2. That's 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's actually 3 spots. It's about a spot better than some of the other ones, like Bentley Bentayga that I reviewed, like the Mercedes G-Class. So this one I think has got a tighter steering radius. Steering wheel itself feels very nice. It feels very soft. It feels very good to the touch, and it's got those grips. So if you're actually doing the shifters right here, you can actually put your thumbs in here, and it gives you that grip. So you can shift your gears with the pedal shifter. And we're going to try that in just a second. So the SVR 5-liter V8, 575 horsepower, 8-speed automatic transmission. What's nice about it too is that it has that torque system where it actually, when you're cornering or where you're driving, it will add more torque to the wheels. Like let's say right now I'm turning, so the torque will gonna go, I'm turning left, so the torque gonna go to the right wheels, so it's gonna help with that turn. And this is the opposite. It's gonna go to the left wheels if I'm turning right. So, and this is nice and very responsive. Also what it does, it's got this terrain monitoring system where it actually monitors the terrain that you're driving on for the smoothest possible drive ever. And I'm gonna put it in the dynamic mode because I want to find out of what this performance thing is all about. I mean, we have tested several vehicles recently. I have tested several vehicles recently. You know, some of them were very, very fast. Some of them were 3 seconds fast. This one is 4.30 to 60, but it is an SUV. And what I like about this car is you can actually pull up to a nice restaurant with it and be very, very presentable. You can take it to almost a racetrack and, you know, compete with the best, you know, probably with cars such as, you know, Porsche Cayenne or the AMG Mercedes-Benz GLE, or if you're looking at some of the other cars like maybe, I don't know, Tesla Model X, which is a very quick car too, the electric vehicle, or, you know, even the Bentley Bentayga that I reviewed recently, that 600 horsepower monster. Now this is not much less horsepower and a lighter vehicle. Let's see how it... Whoa! I don't know if it was as fast as some of the other ones, but the fun of doing it, that crackle at the back of the exhaust and the exhaust system itself, it was awesome. So while we're driving, a couple of things. The head-up display, I hope you can see it from this angle, but it tells you, okay, the speed limit is 45, we're doing 40, okay, so we're well within the speed limit, but it tells you on the speed limit on each road, so it's easier, because it's easy to forget sometimes of how fast you're going, especially if you're driving a vehicle with that much power and you might not even feel it. Oh, it says 11.5 miles per gallon average, which is probably very inaccurate because those cars, when they're new, they just idle, they sit, people take them on a test drive for a mile or two, but the miles per gallon, actually combined miles per gallon, is really not that good. It's at 16, but you know what, if you're spending $130,000 and you want to have the performance vehicle, that's most likely what you're going to get from some of them. See how fast it goes when I hit it at 50 miles per hour. Almost instant. And the sound of it, unbeatable. And other thing that a lot of the cars are not capable of when they're performance vehicles is they generally lose a little bit of its off-roading. Supposedly, this one doesn't. Supposedly, you know, this Range Rover is, they call it the most dynamic Range Rover Sport ever because it's capable of doing safety red light camera. That's interesting. Now, we're speed limit, so I'm not worried about it, but it tells you when there is one, so that's an interesting feature. Right, so let's see. I'm trying to slow down here almost to a stop and see how this car is gonna go from 0 to 60. Hopefully. All right, ready? Go. I love the sound of it. It's amazing. It drives very easy. It lets you control it, but at the same time you know that it's got that power to it. Let's heads-up display when you're in the manual mode where you're shifting it with the pedal shifters. Tells you which gear you're in. It tells you where you're where you should be shifting as far as the RPMs. Tells you, of course, the speed. Okay, let's go here. It actually turns red when you're missed your shift, which is awesome. This is a very nicely driving vehicle. Definitely, guys, if you're looking for, if it's winter's coming, you're looking for something that's gonna take you off-road, or it's gonna take you out of the snow, because not necessarily off-road, but if you're looking for something that's also a performance vehicle, it looks amazing, it sounds amazing, then definitely this one would be one of my top choices. Now, of course, it's a tough competition because the GLE 63, the BMW X5, the M model, they're beautiful, wonderful cars within the same price range. But those three, I don't think you can go wrong with either one of them. I'll give this a big thumbs up. And again, guys, if you like watching these type of videos, if you like listening about cars, if you like listening my mumbling and my thoughts, you know, I hope I make it useful for some, then please consider subscribing. A, B, hit that little notification button. If you do subscribe, hit like. It makes a lot of difference to me when I see that people like my channel. And share it with your friends if you like it. Let them enjoy it. Guys, I will see you in my next video. Cheers.